Hello there, welcome to today's video on carving wooden spoons. So, during the video, I'll be showing you a step-by-step guide on how to carve your own wooden spoon. So I'll first be starting with finding and gathering the wooden pieces, getting them into their rough shape, carving them, and most importantly, making the dent in the spoon. This is where you're going to hold the liquid that you'll be eating. So, let's get to it. So, when making a spoon, you want to consider what wood you want to be using, from what tree. Now, when making a spoon, we want it to be waterproof, obviously, rot resistant, because the spoon will get wet with the liquid that you're holding inside, and we want it to be strong, but also soft enough to make it an easy carving. Now, there are several woods that I know do happen to be here in my area that are perfect for it. Some of them are balsa, aspen, and white pine. Now, right now I'm looking at a patch of white pine trees. Further up there's aspen, and balsa is further down there. So it's good to know what trees are in your area. So if you don't know, just search it up on Google, and I'm sure you'll find it. So, I'm looking for a white pine. Now, because this isn't a really big forest, I like to preserve the trees, and I rather look for a dead tree that has recently fallen instead of cutting down a living one. So that's just what I'm going to do. So I suggest you do the same, just walk around and try and spot dead fallen trees. So, here we have a fallen tree, a white pine tree to be exact, that I just found a few days ago. Now, the reason I know this is white pine is because when I look at this, it's got these long, fluffy needles, and they're growing in clusters of 5. So if I grab a cluster, you can see that this is all one cluster of 5 needles. So I know that this is a white pine. Now I know that white pines have softwood, which makes them really good for carving. So we know that this wood is good for wood carving because the needles are still on, which means that it hasn't started to rot, which will make it perfect for wood carving. The tree is also dead, so it has fallen off. This branch is completely fallen off. That way I don't have to kill any trees. Now, I didn't break this. Maybe some other human being did. Maybe it just naturally broke off. But this was not done by me. So I just naturally found this like so. So this is the wood that I'm going to use. Right from the main trunk. So here I've brought my saw. Just a regular hand saw, nothing special. Especially if it's a softwood, it should be really easy to cut. You can even use your pocket knife to cut through it if it isn't really big. So I'm just going to use this main trunk part. I'm going to want around a medium-sized spoon. That's going to be, I guess, 20 centimeters around there. It doesn't have to be exact. Just going to grab and just start cutting my saw. There we go. You can see on the inside it isn't rotted. It's nice and good. So this will definitely be a good piece. Nice little area, my work area. So, usually like to do carving, different projects like that in this area. Bring a nice little wall. Eventually come here. On here, I just go ahead and take a seat. So here I have my piece. As you can see, the bark is on. And the first thing I like to do is grab my draw knife. You do not have to use a draw knife. You could just use a normal knife, even an axe to do it, but I just find it easier to take the bark off. So just grab it like so, and then just start pretty much stripping away at the bark. Like so. So here a close-up what I'm doing. So I have the piece and I'm trying to get it square on all 4 sides. So 1 side, 2 side, 3 side, and 4 side. So I removed the smooth bark using my draw knife over here. This is a new draw knife that I just got. The way it works is you usually have a shave horse, but if you don't, you just pinch it in between your knees like this. You grab it, and then you lightly go towards yourself like that. Now this takes off the bark really nicely. Like here, it just comes off like butter. It's super nice, and this way you can just get it into a really nice square shape. Here, So here at the end, I've kind of noticed that this big blob, it doesn't really fit in, so I'll just cut it off near the tip, around here. That way it's a lot smaller and a lot smoother. Here we have the spoon. So here I finished making the rectangle out of the spoon, and now I'm going to start designing the design for the spoon. Now I like to keep this simple. Now this is very commonly used. First thing when you do though is find the top side of the spoon and find the end that's going to hold the liquid, so the dented end and the handle. So here we can see that the longer curve is going this way. That means this side will be the handle right where my finger is, and this side where my finger is now is going to be the dent. So I'll just put a marking here. You can see I'm marking it here. This is pretty much the area that the spoon is going to be, maybe even a bit larger. That means from here to this end, this is going to be my spoon, my actual spoon, and from here to here, it's going to be my handle. So, here I have my spoon, and I'm just going to give it the basic shape. So I already have some markings done, and I'm just going to start by narrowing the handle down. So the handle's going to be pretty thick here, but here it's going to be a lot further tapered down. So the way I'm going to do this is just making some saw cuts going into the sides like this, and then with my axe grabbing it and hitting it off. So here, one, start by making a saw cut. Make sure they're not too deep. Just want them a bit light. This is just to make the axe job a lot easier. One here. Here. Something like that. And then from here, just go ahead and grab your axe. Just start hitting down like that. Get this out of the way. And this way, you're going to be tampering the tip down. Here we have the shape. Now I'm going to start, I think, cutting a bit on the very bottom like this. This is the top of the spoon. This is from the part that I'll be drinking this. So I'll be cutting the bottom part of the handle, I think. Make 2 notches inside of here. Now if the axe is sliding off like this, what you're going to do is just grab the saw and cut in more notches. There we go. Here I have the kind of base handle, like this. Pretty comfortable. Then this is the head that we'll start working on, the spoon. that. So, now we're going to start the top of the spoon. Now, this is the part of the spoon that's pretty much like the top. You can see this is where we're going to be drinking it from. This is pretty much where we're going to hold the liquid inside of it. Now, there are several knives when it comes to choosing how to do this. I prefer a wood carving knife. These are very sharp, nice knives like these. Really good for fine detail, but you could also use, if you want, just like a regular kind of knife like this. It's not as good, but it's still pretty good to get the job done. So the way this is going to work is we're going to grab our spoon, we're going to grab our knife. We're going to go ahead and start by making these kind of cuts. So this is the top. We're grabbing my knife like this, and we're driving this like this, inside. So we're just driving it pretty much away from ourselves, like this. We're just like pretty much near the center, expanding that outwards, and just driving it outwards. So just keep on doing this until you have the shape of your spoon. So just grab it, keep on kind of just like working at it like this, shaving it. So. There we go. A bit better now. So here we have the finished product. This is the finished spoon that I've managed to carve. So here you can see the handle. It's more in width than it is in height. We've got the spoon head. This is where we're going to place the liquid food that we're going to eat. Now you can see that it is a bit rough, so I do suggest that you grab sandpaper or something like that to smoothen it out. I just don't have it available to me at this time. See, it's pretty smooth. Probably make it smoother with sandpaper. Here I've added in like a small little design, just for aesthetics. And while it holds pretty comfortably in my grip, like here, it's pretty comfortable. It's not too bad. So yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, tips, anything like that, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. I will gladly go ahead and read them. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.